When the new teaser trailer for the upcoming X-Men Apocalypse was shown at Comic-Con, many people debated the look of the title character Apocalypse. Some thought he looked great, others thought he looked awful and reminded them more of a Power Rangers villain. Now, Entertainment Weekly has released new high-res images of the new film, including a cover photo of Apocalypse, Magneto and Psylocke. X-Men Apocalypse is currently set to hit theaters on May 27th. John, do you buy or sell these new pictures from X-Men Apocalypse?
It is important to keep in mind when we're talking about just pictures or trailers even, that sometimes when we see them, we are seeing them out of context and we don't understand the context. Look, I'll be the first to admit, when the first pictures of Quicksilver came out for X-Men Days of Future Past, we all, including myself, went, oh my God, that looks bad. But it wasn't until after somebody said to me, John, put it in context. This is the 70s, remember? So what would kind of an outsider who sees himself a certain way in the 70s might look like? And then I went, okay, you know what? Then maybe I can see it. And then when you see it in context in the movie, it totally makes sense. All that being said, sell. This looks awful. Apocalypse looks terrible. I remember before when debates used to come around, we're like, well, why isn't Wolverine wearing the yellow spandex? Because that would look ridiculous on screen. What do you want next? Apocalypse with a big giant A on his belt buckle? Oops. Turns out they decided to put a big giant A on Apocalypse's belt buckle. This looks terrible. He looks like Ivan Ooze. Now, granted, like the Quicksilver situation, once we see it in context, maybe then we'll step back and go, okay, now I see it, and this kind of works, much like it did with Quicksilver. So I'm totally open to that. But if all we're talking about is the picture in the first images, I'm looking at that, and I'm going, that ain't my Apocalypse. So for me, right now, it's a sell. Christian, what about you?
I'll buy Magneto.
Magneto looks good.
Yeah, I mean, there are some pictures that I actually did buy. I buy young Cyclops, I buy young Jean Grey, buy young Storm. I thought
Storm with a mohawk.
That's
awesome.
That's a Storm I knew. That's a Storm that we haven't gotten yet. I'm looking forward to that one. And then you start to get into. I'm not huge on the Nightcrawler one. I think he looks a little too emo for me. I think that Psylocke looks terrible. I think I saw better cosplay at Comic-Con.
Oh, absolutely. The
looks like,
Psylocke costume is terrible.
It looks like cosplay.
Yeah.
And then as far as Apocalypse goes, I actually have even heard of some people that were like on the set that were like, doesn't really look too great in person because he's little, Oscar Isaac. Now they probably change that up with special effects and stuff too. That's fine. But I saw some cosplay. Actually, they did like the special makeup for a version, and I remember I showed this to you. I put it on my Instagram of someone who dressed up as Apocalypse.
Oh yeah, and he looked great.
He looked like Apocalypse.
He looked better than this.
100 times better than this. And it just, I don't know what this version is. I don't care if it's the 80s or 70s. Make him look cool. He looks ridiculous. He really does look like that Power Ranger character. It's a huge sell for me.
All right. I'm going against the grain. I'm buying this big time. I saw the trailer. I thought the trailer was fantastic, and I think he looks like kind of like this weird Egyptian scarab. And I like the design. It doesn't have to look like the comic to me. And this is them trying to do something different. I don't mind that he's smaller. I don't need a 15-foot Apocalypse. So to me, all those changes, and I think all the costumes look great. I think Psylocke looks fantastic. I think when you see her jumping around and moving in that kind of outfit, that's the closest of any of the outfits to the comic book, is that Psylocke. That's closer.
Part of the reason I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's, to me, I think all of the costumes look really great, and nothing about it bothers me.
Don't you think sometimes the comic book costumes don't necessarily transfer over to film and live action?
Definitely. But to me, that one doesn't bother me. And the biggest one, I guess, is Apocalypse. He does not bother me that he looks so different. I think it kind of fits in with the way they're doing the film. I mean,
I got to show you that picture. I got to show you that picture.
It's important to keep in mind, as of right now, Bryan Singer has never made anything less than a spectacular X-Men film.
Right.
He's made 3 of them, and they've all been fan-freaking-tastic. So while I may not like these pictures, you may not like them, and you love them, I think it's fair to say we're still all really anticipating this movie. We can't wait to see what he actually does with it.
2 of them, yeah?
No, 3.
He did
Days of
1,
Future
2,
Past.
and Days of Future Past.
Correct, sorry.